So hello, and first off, a warm welcome to old, just current subscribers and any new visitors that might be seeing this video. And so for today is another simple tutorial, but specifically I'm going to be going over, just generally knowing what to design. So let's go ahead and create a new image. I'm just going to use this to write notes. So just going to put, let's change the color. Let's change the color. Let's pick purple. Okay, so knowing, I'll make sure the delay is not on. Yeah, knowing what to design. I didn't mean to write too big to design. So just know what to design, and if I change the color. So generally you're gonna need a prompt, and usually how I break the prompts, I always get like keywords out of it. So let's say keywords such as, let's go ahead and put an arrow there. Let's put, keywords such as, let's say, well, you're gonna need context. So let's say it's a party, and one contest I did I think 2 weeks or 1 week ago was something with Fiesta. So pretty much the same thing. So the theme, and then maybe they want to pay close attention to another element like a guitar, for example, or maybe they want to pay attention close to, let's say, maybe a dress, a certain kind of dress, and then a certain kind of color. But generally, this is generally, before you know what to design, obviously you need the prompt, and then you have to get the keywords, and then you have to break it down to the most important key terms and things that are really that you want as a sort of focal point in your design. So, and then now I can also break this down to like the prompt into like 7 general types of prompts you're likely going to get, and one of them is going to be a request for a more accurate design. And when I say more accurate design, I mean a design that's just more in tune with what they're actually looking for. Maybe they want a design that gives off like a professional vibe, if you will, or professional feeling or emotion. It's like, okay, so easily you would say something a bit more safe feel, like let's say Dell, the color blue that Dell uses for their logo. The blue is more safe, and in my other previous video, discussing how the feeling of blue that it evokes, it's more safe. Whereas if they use like a yellow Dell, that feels a little more radiant and more joyful and less professional, because usually when you think of professional, you're calm and conveying your words a little more in a calm manner or safe manner, kind of predictable manner. So, and then next, I guess number could be, maybe they want to modernize it. And when I say modernize it, the first thing that comes to mind when it is modernize, I always think of it like responsive. And when you compare like old websites to new websites, you see the corners, it's a lot smoother. You see rounder edges, or even it responds to user hovering over in it, which is pretty much like responsive. This is just web design and stuff like that. But just when sometimes when the design is requested to be a little more modernized, that's sometimes what they're asking for, and it's especially the polish. The colors requested to be a little more polished, and then a little more shading there, and just generally less flat too. So for number 3 is typography. Now I wish I did more practice with this, but I mean, because for this section, I guess, or category, I don't know, it's felt safer to just not to simplify like this category, not to go overboard, because sometimes some fonts can be too much, too much so like it's unreadable. So evidently it's just has been me just going back to something as simple as Times New Roman or something not too out there. So I guess I could put to be continued. And so for the next category, it's gonna be so stronger. This one I've done before. It's just like a stronger meaning or story behind it. Sometimes what I've seen is some stories or background sort of idea or reflection is a bit too much. So TLDR is very important. TLDR while still being captivating. Captivating. Yeah, it's probably not right. But you know what I mean. But captivating, and then yeah, it just grabs the user, it grabs the reader's attention, and it's captivating and it's interesting, you know. But obviously you need a problem and solution, but you can't overdo it. You cannot overdo it. So problem, solution, and yeah, and also and sometimes it's call to action too, depending on how you write it. So the next category is gonna be exploration. For this one, you look for variation. They want a different variation of the same logo, but not too different. It still needs to feel similar, but not too exactly the same. This one can be challenging, but I mean, if you get these key notes or key details in check, then this isn't really that challenging anymore. You just need to like be more attentive to what's the sort of established theme. To established theme. And I think the last one is consistency. So let's see if I have 6 in here. I do not have 6. I am missing 1. 1, 2, 3. Accurate, modernize. Ooh, I missed. Yeah, I see the one. So let me just go over consistency really quickly. So for consistency, usually those examples I see it in like when you're trying to get the logo into social media posts, and sometimes it's not so friendly. How you style it is not so friendly, so you have to find some healthy way to justify that it's going to look a bit different but still execute similarly to if the logo was there and if it wasn't there. So, and then the last one I forgot, let me make sure this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, last one I forgot is color. Now for color, usually it stays the same. Sometimes I think this one really varies, and it's kind of a bigger topic too, but sometimes it varies for this one. Sometimes they want it to be consistent, like right here. Consistency. Sometimes they want to use the Explorer. Sometimes they want to use, maybe they want to make it less flat, so they actually do the shade a little bit more. Maybe sometimes they want it super flat. They don't want any shading. They don't want any blended blurs. They don't want any. Sometimes they want to change from this to that or this to this. Usually it's either blended blur versus rendered. Usually the rendered is when it's all flat and strong. You don't see as much shading as you should, and yeah, so I know it looks kind of like a mess, but that's kind of how I break it down on knowing what to design. So yeah, thank you for taking time to watch the video, and have a fantastic day.